Well, hi, everybody. Welcome to the KaiNexus Continuous Improvement Podcast. I'm Mark Graban, and we're joined today by Linn. He is one of the new team members at KaiNexus. He's a customer success manager, so we have a chance to talk to him today. Austin, thanks for joining us. How are you?
Yeah, thanks for having me, Mark. I'm doing great. Happy to be here and happy to talk about KaiNexus and CI and what we can do for everyone.
Yeah, well, welcome to the team. And people might think of KaiNexus as an Austin-based company because that's where headquarters. I guess that's kind of headquarters. We do KaiNexicon and other events in Austin anyway, so it's a little confusing. You don't live in Austin, though.
No, I'm Austin, but I live in San Antonio. So we always like to clarify that for everyone.
Yeah. Well, if we end up hiring Antonio, maybe he'll live in Houston, and the confusion will
it comes full circle.
Yeah. So Austin, as we do here on the podcast, we like to talk to new KaiNexians about why you joined the company. So I'd be curious to hear your story. Why did you join KaiNexus?
Yeah, Mark. I've worked in some kind of customer facing role for most of my career. A lot of that was spent in retail management, actually, with Home Depot and then HEB, which everyone loves here in Texas. Great company to work for, but retail's a beast, and it's a tough life to lead. And so I left the retail world a few years ago, moved into more of account management. And the company I was at wasn't the future I was looking for. It didn't have the culture I wanted. Mm-hmm. So, started expanding my horizons and came across KaiNexus. And from the very first interview all the way until getting the offer, it was the most amazing interview process I'd ever been a part of. Everyone was so genuine, so welcoming. Everyone wanted to know about me and who I am and what makes me tick. It wasn't about my job experience or just reading a resume. It was about my ideas and my values and my culture and how that would fit into KaiNexus. And so it just felt like such a great place to be and a great team to be on. And when I joined, that was all reaffirmed, and everyone I met has really embodied the culture we try to build here and the values that Greg and Jeff and Matt and everyone on the team espouse. And so it's truly, I think, the most rewarding place I've worked.
That's great to hear. And we could talk about culture and Austin wrote a blog post on the KaiNexus customer blog. We'll link to it in the show notes, the invaluable value of culture. I mean, I'd be curious to hear more from your perspective, Austin, of why culture is so important.
Yeah, Mark, like I said, I've worked in quite a few places. I've experienced some really poor work cultures. I don't want to name any names, but some places I've worked really haven't put an emphasis on the kind of people that work there and how you treat others and how you act on a daily basis. All they focus on are the numbers. And they've been places led by people who focus on the bottom line, and those are hard places to work. It becomes very draining. It's very damaging, I think, to your spirit and to the motivation. It's hard when to go in and just punch a clock and punch out and feel satisfied about the work that you did that day, when it's a place you don't really feel welcome and you don't feel encouraged. And we're reading this book actually right now called The Advantage for our KaiNexus book club by Patrick Lencioni, and that echoes so much, I think, of what I put in my blog post, that organizational health and that culture you build is surpasses everything. If you're not hiring the right people and encouraging the right people to do the right thing on a daily basis, then your numbers are going to falter, and all those metrics you're trying to reach aren't going to be reached, and that's going to be reflected in the success of your business. And so it's a thing that I think in our work culture, especially here in America, we don't put enough emphasis on. Having that place that people really want to be and are encouraged to be themselves and really grow and expand. And I hope that the recent events with COVID and people seeking out new employment and seeking different opportunities is really going to impress upon the importance of that culture and having a good place to work upon the leaders in corporate America.
Yeah, I've heard some people describe culture. How do you define culture? And some say it's just the way we do things every day. And I think that includes how we treat others, right? It's not just how we go about the work, but how you treat others. And I think our view, and I think other companies that focus on culture, realize that the bottom line and the numbers come as an end result of having a mission and aligned values and a culture and a strong team that's supportive of each other. That leads to financial results. So it's
exactly,
we can have both, but I'm with you. Companies that focus primarily or sometimes only on the results, that can be a grind. I agree with you.
Yeah, I mean, you can always teach someone how to do a job. You can't teach someone how to have share the same values that you're looking for and treat people the way that they should be treated. Those are intangibles that someone may either possess or not possess, especially in when hiring someone for a position at a company. I think something that struck me about the job post for KaiNexus, the last line of the post was, we don't care about your qualifications. We care about who you are. Apply anyways. It doesn't matter what background you have. If you're meant to work here, then you'll work here. And that just rang so true to me and really stuck with me, and is actually one of the main reasons I applied for the position, because I'd never seen a job post like that.
That's cool. So speaking of work, the role of a customer success manager, like some people listening are KaiNex's customers and they interact with you or one of the other customer success managers. But for those who don't know, how do you describe the role and what you do?
We're the bridge between KaiNexus and the customers. We're their advocate. We're the person who, on the KaiNexus side, is going to, fight for the product enhancements they're looking for or the resources they need, whether it's, someone from our marketing team or training or bringing in another CSM who might have more expertise, bring in Lean strategy. We bring all those needs that they have to other team members at KaiNexus and say, hey, this is what this customer needs to be successful. And then it's also just, kind of walking them through, changes they want in their instance and more on the technical side, helping them with questions they have about using the software, making changes, maximizing its efficiency, and then just kind of being walking that CI journey with them. I think, we're not there to lead them on their CI journey. That's for them to do. We're there to kind of walk in step with them.
Well, and we've been joined today by Austin Linn, and one other thing I wanted to ask you about Austin was another blog post. I'm glad you like to write and get contributions to the KaiNexus blogs and some things you've written on LinkedIn. But the other blog that we'll link to in the show notes is titled "Don't Ask Me, That's Not My Job." What was sort of the context that prompted you to think of that phrase or to write the post?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that phrase, has such a negative connotation usually.
Yeah.
People see that as someone trying to get away from doing work or blow someone off. But I think, the way I looked at it and the way I think we should be looking at it is, we need to be asking the right people the right questions in the workplace, especially in industries that have, what we might call frontline workers, whether that's people in manufacturing, hospitals, with nursing staff, janitorial staff, people kind of on the floor really doing the work. I think, a lot of times problems that companies come across, are found in those areas, kind of in the gemba, as we would say, and the the people trying to solve those problems aren't actually doing the work.
Right,
they're
right.
Executives who, they're smart, they're qualified, they're in the position they're in for a reason, but they're not the ones cleaning the floors and building the product on the manufacturing line and taking care of the patients at the hospital at their bedside. But we're asking them to solve those problems. And so the solutions they're coming up with, they may look great for the numbers, they may look great on paper, from a cost benefit analysis, they might be the right answer, but they don't actually help solve the problem, make the lives easier of the people doing the work. And so, it's about asking the people doing the job what a solution could be, because a lot of times they're already, might be solving that problem just in their daily task, but that information isn't getting passed on. It's not getting passed up the chain. It's not getting written down anywhere. And that's where, KaiNexus, comes in, and our customers having that employee driven improvement and having a place for those frontline employees to put those improvements and those ideas in. I was recently at a conference in Orlando, talking about, healthcare, process improvement and solutions engineering. Rebecca Love gave a speech there. She's a highly regarded in the nursing field, very successful, gives TED Talks. She gave a keynote speech talking about nurses and how they need to be involved in the in the problem solving phase in hospitals. And she walks into meetings, and the only people there are doctors and executives trying to solve problems that nurses face every day. And there's a disconnect there that, again, I think we really need to address in our corporate culture, and realize that just because someone doesn't have an MBA or didn't go to Harvard or Yale or have an advanced degree doesn't mean they're not qualified to solve problems they face every day.
Yeah, for sure. And I love the way you sort of turn that phrase in a way upside down, or it's sort of directed and pointed in a different direction, where likewise a manager saying that's not my job doesn't mean they're shirking duties either. But I love the way you articulated, like the managers can't be coming up with quote unquote fixes in a vacuum in a conference room and then just lobbing them in the team. Like leaders have a role to play. They can participate, but they should be kind of drawing out from people. Like what ideas could we test? What support do you need from me as a leader? That turns things upside down compared to how it is in some organizations.
Exactly. And I, again, working in retail for a long time, I saw that on a daily basis. The directives come down, or new processes come down from higher up that sound great on paper, and in a very controlled environment they might work, but when it's a real world application, when it's a busy Sunday at the grocery store, or things are on fire, it's those solutions really aren't the solutions we should be using. And I found so many times that the people actually doing the work had solutions already that were far and above company procedure or those directives that had been given to them.
Well, and that's why KaiNexus is here to help support companies and leaders and their teams that are forming a continuous improvement culture. We try to have that ourselves within KaiNexus. And Austin, I'm glad you're bringing your interest, or I would say drive, for this into KaiNexus to help us grow and to help us build the culture. And so welcome aboard. Thank you for joining the team, and thank you for joining us here on the podcast.